Inside Job is Joy's first book. Now, she told me what a typical day as a prison chaplain would look like.
A typical day for a chaplain was to see everyone that had come in the night before, every prisoner that had come in the night before, which could be up to about 30 prisoners on an induction programme, to see everybody in the segregation block that were there, which would probably be about 12, and to see everyone who was on the healthcare unit. Those were what were called statutory duties of the chaplain, and following on from that, it could be a whole range of things like responding to death, whether that might be from a phone call or a prisoner's relative saying that his parent had died, his wife had died, or somebody else. Could be a suicide in prison. It could be by an application that had come through to the chaplain's office saying the prisoner wants to see the chaplain, so going to find him and discuss what he wanted to see the chaplain about. So it was endless. There were a whole range of things. And then to stand at a meal queue, probably at lunchtime or tea time, was a good way of interacting with prisoners and having a very brief conversation with them and probably seeing them later in the day. So that was sort of an average sort of day.
There will be extreme days that we see about on the news, riots and things like that. What would your role be in something like that?
I was there at the time when the riot took place in Lincoln Prison in 2002, which was an horrific time, a time when lots of staff were left traumatised. Of course, prisoners too were traumatised as well, and overnight 200 prisoners had been moved out of jail to other jails. So picking up the threads of that was not an easy process. The prison had been in lockdown for a number of weeks after that, so life was a very strained atmosphere.
Life inside a prison could be very varied. Joy explained some of the challenges that she had faced.
I think one of the biggest challenges, I wouldn't call it a challenge, but I guess it probably would be to a lot of people, were supporting prisoners who were quite newsworthy with the crimes that they had committed, and knowing that they were maybe sex offenders, murderers, and those are the sort of things that you can't talk about to anybody of the public. But I wouldn't call it a challenge, but sometimes it was a difficult one, although the prisoner would really talk about the crimes that he had committed.
What is it you want to achieve by writing the book? What's the message you want to get across?
Well, I want to get for me, obviously I'm a Christian, but I worked in a multi-faith team, so I put that across quite clearly in the book, and I learned a lot about other faiths, which was important, and certainly important in the society that we live in today. I wanted to get the message out there to give people a flavour, although they might have looked on television and read other books, what life was like in a local jail. And I wanted to write it in a story fashion so that people could be carried along with the story and probably find something new or something that they hadn't realised before. I took quite a lot of time in gathering acknowledgements for the book, which I was very pleased to do from quite prominent people, which obviously gave weight to selling the book as well. But I wanted folk to see the prison chaplain as a person with compassion.
So the book's out now?
Yes.
Where can people get it?
The people can get it from the publishers, who are Austin Macaulay Publishers Limited. They can purchase it through Waterstones, WH Smith, and any major bookseller, through Amazon. And if they want to contact me, they certainly can purchase it from me, and I'd be happy to give them a signed copy.
Joy, pleasure to meet you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you.